Claire had been struggling to balance her work-from-home job and caring for her 6-month-old daughter, Mia. When she saw Lena's profile on a local babysitting app, she felt relieved. Lena seemed like the perfect solution. She had excellent reviews, a kind smile, and came across as soft-spoken and caring. During the interview, she played gently with Mia, humming a sweet lullaby that instantly calmed the baby. Claire hired her on the spot. For the first few days, everything went smoothly. Lena arrived early, cooked small meals for Mia, and even cleaned the nursery. Claire's neighbors praised her for finding such a trustworthy helper. But little by little, strange things began to disturb the peace. Toys would move from their places even when Mia was asleep. The baby monitor occasionally showed brief static, followed by what looked like shadows flickering across the room. One night, Claire woke up to faint humming through the monitor, the same lullaby Lena used to sing. But when she checked the live feed, the camera showed Mia's empty crib. Heart pounding, Claire rushed to the nursery, only to find Lena already standing there, whispering, "She's safe, I was just checking." From then on, Mia started crying whenever Lena came close. The baby's eyes would fix on something behind Lena's shoulder, as if seeing something invisible. Claire brushed it off as childish fear, but inside, unease grew like a cold knot. One afternoon, while picking up Mia's toys, Claire found a small hand-carved wooden figure under the crib, a crude doll with eyes made of black thread and a single strand of Mia's hair tied around it. When she asked Lena about it, Lena only smiled and said softly, "It helps keep her calm." That night, the baby monitor light flickered again, and this time, the humming didn't stop until dawn. The following night, the air was cooler, but Emma couldn't shake off the strange feeling from before. Liam reassured her, saying, "You worry too much. Nothing's out there." They laughed it off and left the window open again. The moonlight spilled across their room, making the white curtains shimmer softly. Outside, the forest was quiet, almost too quiet. Around midnight, Emma awoke suddenly. Her eyes fluttered open, and she felt the room colder than before. The curtains swayed slowly, and the air carried a faint murmur, so soft she thought she imagined it. Then it came again, a whisper, her name, Emma. Her blood ran cold. She turned to Liam, asleep beside her, his chest rising and falling peacefully. The whisper came again, closer now, as if someone were right beside the bed, breathing the word into her ear. "Emma." She shot up, heart pounding, and looked toward the window. It was wide open, the curtain billowing inward. The whisper stopped. The room fell into deep silence, broken only by her shallow breaths. Liam stirred, rubbing his eyes. "What is it?" he asked groggily. "I heard someone," she stammered, pointing to the window. He listened, but the night outside was still. No voices, no wind, nothing. After a long moment, he sighed. "You must have dreamed it." He got up, closed the window, and locked it. Emma finally lay back down, but it took hours before her eyes drifted shut. In her dreams, she stood by the window, a cold hand resting on her shoulder. A figure behind her whispered her name again, but this time it sounded exactly like her own voice. At dawn, Emma woke to find muddy footprints on the floor, small, wet, and leading from the window straight to her side of the bed and back out again. By the third night, fear had crept into the corners of their once peaceful home. Emma convinced Liam to keep the windows shut, but unease lingered like a heavy fog. Even during the day, the air inside the house felt unnaturally still, as though the walls themselves were listening. Their cat, Milo, refused to enter the bedroom. Whenever they tried to carry him in, his fur would bristle, and he'd hiss at the window before darting out of the room. Liam laughed nervously, trying to lighten the mood. Maybe he just saw a bug, but Emma wasn't convinced. She felt something watching her. When she walked past the window, she could almost sense eyes following her movement, unseen, patient, waiting. That night, as the clock neared 3 a.m., they both woke to a faint sound. It wasn't outside this time. It came from inside the room, the same slow scratching they'd heard before, but now against the inside of the window glass. Liam grabbed a flashlight, scanning every corner. Nothing. Yet the noise continued, as if something invisible dragged its nails softly over the pane. Determined to prove it wasn't real, Liam set up a small camera facing the window before they went back to bed. "We'll see what's really going on," he said. Emma barely slept, her mind filled with the whispering voice from the night before. The next morning, with pale faces and trembling hands, they played back the footage. For the first few hours, nothing. Then, at 3:12 a.m., the window latch lifted by itself. The glass slid open slowly. A thin, pale hand reached in, fingers long, veins dark, and then froze midway. The image glitched, and when it cleared, the hand was gone. Emma dropped the camera, whispering, "That wasn't a dream." And on the window pane, now closed tight, faint fingerprints appeared from inside. Claire's unease had grown into constant fear. She stopped sleeping properly, checking the baby monitor every few minutes. Lena still came over daily, acting cheerful as ever, humming that same lullaby. But something in her eyes had changed, an emptiness, like she wasn't fully there anymore. One Friday evening, Claire returned home early from work. The clock on the wall read 6:15 p.m., but her phone said 7:15. Confused, she asked Lena why the clocks were off. Lena smiled faintly. "Oh, I must have forgotten to reset it," she said. "Mia's been asleep for an hour now." Claire went straight to the nursery, but the air felt colder than usual. Mia was asleep, her small hands clutching the edge of her blanket. When Claire touched her forehead, she felt icy cold, as if she'd been outside. Later, Claire tried reviewing the camera footage, but there was a full hour missing between 6 and 7 p.m. The app showed no motion, no recording, just a black void. Panicking, she hacked into the backup cloud storage. The footage played, shaky, grainy. It showed Lena standing in front of the crib, eyes closed, humming in a language Claire didn't recognize. Then, Lena lifted her hands, drawing strange symbols in the air above Mia's crib with a small silver pendant. Shadows swirled around her, as if alive. Claire's hand trembled as she watched Lena whisper words that made her skin crawl. Suddenly, the screen went white, and then black. Terrified, Claire confronted Lena the next morning. "What did you do to her?" she shouted. Lena didn't flinch. She looked at Claire calmly and said, "You wouldn't understand. I was protecting her. They want her back." "Who?" Claire demanded. Lena's lips curled into a soft smile. "The ones that used to live here before you moved in." After the chilling discovery of the missing footage, Claire began noticing something new, a faint knocking sound from beneath the floor every night around 3 a.m. It wasn't loud, just steady, like someone softly tapping from below. The sound always started when Lena was in the house. One evening, Claire decided to investigate. She followed the sound to the old wooden door leading to the basement, a place she rarely entered. The doorknob felt icy, the air behind it thick and damp. When she pulled it open, the smell of mold and dust filled her lungs. A dim light bulb flickered weakly as she stepped down the creaking stairs. What she found made her skin crawl. Old, decaying children's toys lay scattered across the concrete floor. Dolls with missing eyes, tiny shoes, a rusted rattle. Against one wall sat a cradle, covered in cobwebs, rocking slightly even though there was no breeze. None of these things belonged to Mia. Suddenly, Claire heard footsteps behind her. Lena stood at the top of the stairs, her expression unreadable. "Lena, what is all this?" Claire whispered. Lena descended slowly, her voice calm and distant. "They all slept here once," she said. "Before you came. Before they were forgotten." Claire's pulse quickened. "Who are you talking about?" Lena walked to the cradle, brushing her fingers gently over it. "The children. They called me when I was a child, too. They need someone to watch over them." Claire backed away, trembling. "You're insane." Lena turned toward her, her eyes dark and unfocused. "No, Claire. You invited me. You wanted help." Then came a faint cry from upstairs, Mia's voice echoing through the vents. Claire ran toward the stairs, but Lena's hand gripped her wrist tightly. "Don't go," she whispered. "She's with them now." Claire didn't let Lena babysit after that night. She claimed Mia was sick and told her not to come anymore. But the house didn't feel safe. The baby monitor still flickered on its own, sometimes showing brief flashes of that same rocking cradle, even when the basement door was locked. Determined to uncover the truth, Claire called the babysitting agency again. The voice on the other end hesitated, then said something that froze her blood. "There's no record of any Lena employed with us. The photo you sent, that woman died 3 years ago." Claire's hand shook as she stared at Lena's smiling profile picture on her phone. Could someone have stolen her identity? Or was Lena something else entirely? She rushed her laptop and searched local news archives. Finally, she found a headline from 2019. "Local babysitter found dead in basement. Ritual markings surround body." The address in the article, her own house. Her heart nearly stopped. She realized Lena wasn't just an imposter. She was the ghost of the woman who'd once lived there. The house wasn't hers to begin with. Just then, Claire's phone buzzed. A notification popped up. "Baby monitor live. Motion detected." But she hadn't opened the app in days. She tapped it. The live feed opened to show Mia's empty crib. The camera slowly panned, by itself, toward the corner of the room. There stood Lena, face half in shadow, whispering softly to something unseen. Claire dropped the phone and ran upstairs. The nursery was empty. The window was open, curtains fluttering in the cold wind. Then her phone buzzed again. A new notification. New device connected. Lena's phone. A voice came through the monitor, calm and loving. "She's safe with me now, Claire. You never listened, so I took her somewhere she'll never be alone." Days turned into weeks, and there was still no sign of Mia or Lena. The police searched the woods, the riverbanks, and nearby towns, but they found nothing. Every clue led to a dead end. Claire stopped eating, stopped sleeping. Her days blended into endless silence and regret. One evening, Detective Morris arrived at her door. His face was pale, his voice low. "We recovered something from the cloud backup," he said, handing her a flash drive. "It's the last file your baby monitor ever recorded." Claire's hands trembled as she opened the laptop. The video flickered to life. At first, it showed her, entering the nursery with a frantic look on her face, calling for Mia. The crib was empty. "Mia, where are you?" she shouted. The video glitched, then refocused. Behind her, the mirror on the wall began to ripple like water. A faint outline appeared, Lena's reflection, smiling. Claire on the screen turned slowly toward the mirror, her expression confused. Then, from a reflection, Lena stepped out, silent, graceful, and stood right behind her. The sound cut out for a few seconds. When it returned, there was only Claire's scream, loud and desperate, before the screen went black. Detective Morris turned away. "That's where the footage ends," he said quietly. "We never found your daughter, or Lena." But that night, Claire couldn't shake the feeling she wasn't alone. She unplugged the monitor, threw it in a drawer, but at 2:13 a.m., it powered on by itself. The soft lullaby began to play. The screen showed Mia's crib, perfectly made. Then, the camera slowly panned toward the mirror. Two figures stood there, Mia in Lena's arms. Lena looked directly into the camera, smiling faintly. "Now she has a mother who never leaves her," she whispered. The video froze, and then the monitor light blinked red. "Live feed active,"